And that could be new business F. Is there any discussion or objection? Questions? Okay, anything else on the agenda? Would someone like to make a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
So moved.
Support.
Okay, I have a motion by trustee Marshall, and it is seconded by clerk Allen to approve the agenda as amended. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. The agenda has been approved unanimously. So we'll go on to our reports. We have our regular treasury report, along with our general ledger report. Tongue is getting twisted. Our designated report and our reconciliation report. We have a building department report. And we also have a recreation report, and we have our recreation director here who would maybe like to add something to that. And I'm also wanting to let the board know that we have 2 employees that have been inducted into a Hall of Fame, one of which is our recreation director, and he got inducted into the Hall of Fame for flag football and another kind of football. Or flag and something else. And then also our cable coordinator, Mr. Greg Norman, was inducted into the Lacrosse Hall of Fame. That's my understanding. So we're very proud of both of you.
That means that we're getting old and. Yeah, I was a proud participant.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I was the Michigan Flag Football Association, the state of Michigan, recognized me as an employee for the township as a coordinator for flag football for many years. So that was nice to see that. And then I was also inducted at one of my old colleges, Olivet College, for Hall of Fame as well. So
Very cool.
yeah, I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, good job.
What was that for? Flag football. For Olivet, what was that for?
For pretty much the one championship team that ever came out of that college. Jason played for him too, but he's much younger than I am.
Very good.
That was the first time we won the championship in 68 years.
What sport?
Football.
Oh, okay.
And I was tailback.
Oh, cool.
It was good times. Okay, so we'll get to the report. It's been so far a really good 2019 year. Our soccer numbers are up, our baseball numbers are up. Dana, you'd be happy to hear that we have a sponsor for every single team. We are currently taking registrations for our little hitters, which is your beginning or coach, pitch, and t-ball. We do have sponsors for our beginning soccer and beginning t-ball as well. Like I said, the numbers are up, but they're not, sky high. We only got a certain amount of population around here, but at least the kids are playing sports. And Dana, while I spoke your name, congratulations to your 2 children. I saw them in the paper. Great family picture. This year we hired Scott Smith. He's working right now, otherwise I would have him up here to introduce him. He's a 30-year veteran as a registered official with the state of Michigan. His past experience was he was for Genesee County Parks. He was in charge of employees, seasonal employees. And prior to that, he was food management. So he's got some management skills, and I'm getting really good support from the parents out there calling me and say, who's this guy? He's doing a great job. So we look forward to having him around. And then the big news, some of you might have heard it, might not. We had the bid opening for the 2016-2017 grant that combined it for the 4 baseball fields, 4 volleyball, basketball court, 300 cars of parking, all the bells and whistles. One bid came in $900,000 over budget. The engineers are back to the drawing board for a new bid.
Good.
And I went to a conference about 3 weeks ago, met with the DNR. It was a question and answer conference. And I was going like, what are we going to do about this? We don't want to lose the money. And we can lose the money if we don't get this thing rolling. And we'll never be able to bid or write another grant with the DNR. It's negative 50 points if you have to turn back the money. So the process is going to be, and the engineers will be done by this Friday. Basically, I took some notes because I talked to Albert today. They're going to be changing the grading. First of all, Roger Ingalls, who built the first phase of the park, Roger Ingalls Construction, him and I went out and shot grades. Then I got back with Albert and made some suggestions from Roger's experience, and they took our suggestions. They basically turned some fields some different directions, and it was all about the land balancing. That was the biggest expense. There was almost 400,000 just in land balance, and we got $549,000 to work with. So basically, by changing some fields, changing the grading, changing the configuration, lowering the grade, it's not going to be a bowl, but it's going to they're actually going to lower the land and put some ditches behind the fields and in front. They're called bioswales. All that water will run out to where it's supposed to go. We shouldn't have any problem. It's less earthwork, so the cost should be down. But the kicker is we're going to have to eliminate 2 baseball fields, probably. The new bid packet will be only 2 fields and 2 sand volleyball. Still, we're going to have the same amount of parking, the ADA, everything's going to be accessible. Those big point items that we got in the grant, environmental stuff, we have to keep. We have to keep some of every little scope item that was put into that grant. We have to keep some of it. You can reduce it, and we just have to write another grant for the other part. I did apply for, it's a foundation, Ralph C. Wilson Jr. He was the owner of the Buffalo Bills. He's from Detroit. He passed. He left in, thanks to the supervisor. She was told about this, and I looked into it. $220 million was set aside for recreation purposes in southeast Michigan, and Oakland County is a candidate. I applied. I got accepted for the first round. I gave him a huge sob story on this whole thing. And she goes, you know, that is a good story in a way that we like to help people out with. So in 2 months, we'll know if we get additional $500,000.
Very cool.
So we'll see. The big ticket on that was that we have matching money because we have the current funds and we have engineered plans, and those were the 2 big things for the foundation to apply for that. Along with that new grading, they're going to be putting in some 6-inch drain tile to help with the bioswales and things like that. So those plans will be ready by Friday. They have to get approved by the DNR, and then it goes back out for bids. And now, let's say if that doesn't happen, we'll have to get the park subcommittee together and decide what we're going to do. And really, we only got one option because we can't keep putting it back out for bids. We're going to run out of time because we have to spend that $175,000 by October or we lose it. The other option, if these bids come in again, the township will have to be basically the subcontractor or a general contractor. You either have my department handle it or you hire somebody to handle it, and we go out and get bids for this, get bids for that, you piecemeal it. And the DNR has a process for that. Anything up to $10,000, you can just get 3 bids and pick whoever you want. Anything over $10,000, you have to do a sealed bid. But you can piecemeal it. At my baseball meeting, I brought it up to the attention, some of the coaches and some of the sponsors were there. And I says, if things get really bad with this, I'll be looking to the community to help and like purchase a bench, purchase a picnic table, purchase a solar lighting. And I had two guys walk in my office and they said, let me know when that happens. So I think we're gonna get this built. We just gotta be prepared to really step it up so we don't lose that money. Okay, that's all I got. Anybody else?
Can I ask a
Yeah, you
question?
can, yeah, sure you can.
The extra grant that you applied for, the 500,000, is that a matching grant?
Yes. Oh, no,
It matches with what we've already got.
they just highly recommend it. If you don't match it with anything, you probably won't get it, but, so the matching money, why I said, yeah, we got matching money, because we already committed matching money to the current grant. That counts as the matching.
Okay.
The,
They're not two separate.
no. And then also our federal money, the DNR, is matching as well. So we have 549,000 matching money.
Right, but we don't need 500 for each is what Terry's
No,
trying to ask.
no.
Right.
We need one amount and it'll cover both grants.
Right,
Because the
basic-
DNR wanted it and they just want to see us use it.
Yeah, so if we get that, we have $1,049,000 to work with, because we have our 549,000.
Chris had a question.
Yeah, Fred, what was the original estimate for the 4 fields?
The original, for just the 2016, was 390-some thousand, and according to HRC, and then you got the other 17.
90,000.
Something like that, I would have to relook it, but.
Okay.
And then, of course, the other one was, the total of the two is 549,000.
The total for the 2 of what?
The 2016 grant awarded,
Oh,
and the 2017 grant awarded.
okay. So now we get, our one and only bid comes in at 900 grand.
No, came in 1,000,003.
1 million.
We're 900,000 short, or wherever the
Oh,
math
I
is
see.
on that.
I see what you're saying. Our one
How
and
could
only
it
bid.
double? That's a lot.
Well, I've talked to numerous people, and when people bid high like that, if we get it, we're gonna bring in extra boulders, and we're gonna do this and this, and they're gonna fill their pockets full of money. They're obviously really busy, so they just stick a high price out there. Why, we had 12 people come to the pre-bid. One of them was a local guy, I can't remember his name, but they never put a bid in. We had one bid.
The second time around.
Huh?
The second time around.
We only did it once,
Oh, no, you
so
didn't.
now it's gonna go back out for bid
Well,
again.
they said pre-bid.
Well, the pre-bid is just a conference in
Pre-bid
here.
meeting. It was a meeting
Oh,
before the
So
bid.
question and answers,
So you didn't get
basically.
any bids,
Not
really?
at that time, no. It was a question and answer type thing.
Right,
Okay.
for them to figure out what to bid on and that type of.
Okay.
And then they went out to the, I went out to the site with some of the contractors and just talked.
And now just one came back.
Must have scared them away.
At one
Or
point,
they're too busy.
Did anyone else have any questions for Fred? Dana? No?
So we're gonna make changes and then ask for bids again. We can't just ask for bids again because we only got one bid. I mean, that's not very good comparison. I mean,
Well,
we have to make changes to re-get bids again, so that's why we have to do
Yeah.
this.
I talked to DNR today, and plus I was at that conference. You got two options. You could bid it out as is, you know, the way it was the first time, and see what you get, or you make amendments.
How do we know we have to go down to 2 fields, though, just because this one bid was outrageous? That could just be that they were outrageous, and maybe we could still do 4 fields. What makes you think we have to go down to 2?
Because I talked to a couple local contractors, and I had them look at it without telling them anything. One guy came in at $1,000,004, and then Roger Ingles, everybody knows him, he sat down and took a real close look at it, and he came up, he says, Fred, I could do this for $550,000, but you won't have no outfield fencing. You're gonna have to purchase your own bleachers, benches, garbage cans, you know, all the little things. And so,
but it was 550 for 4 fields.
and everything, the volleyball, that's what I'm saying. If we get to the point where everything's overbid on the second round, even with 2 fields, we're gonna have to really consider looking at guys like Roger, or I know there's some other people that board members know that might be able to help us out. So, it's gonna get push and shove here real quick, because we, right now they probably couldn't have done much anyways with all the rain we got, but still we gotta move fast.
Yeah. All right, thank you very much, Fred.
Okay, you're welcome. I have to excuse myself. I'm going down to baseball. Okay, thank you.
No problem. All right, we also have an Edna Burton Senior Center report, CDBG report. So that brings us to trustees' reports. Trustee Rumble, would you like to start us out, please?
Yeah, I just want to take a second and thank all the sponsors and people who helped out with Rockin' and Rakin' the last weekend there. I think we did 50 houses this year, Candy, was it? 51? And we had close to 70 volunteers and a bunch of sponsors and a bunch of food donations as well. So thank you for everybody that contributed to that. That's it.
All right, thank you. Trustee DePalma.
My subcommittees, Parks and Recs, haven't met, but,
Apparently we need to.
no, I was just gonna say, but the department head gave a good report for everybody. My retirement oversight committee is meeting on Thursday, so I have nothing there, but I did want to say thank you to the BGYA, everybody who put together the event for the, awards. I was there as trustee and as a mom, but it was a great event. A lot of great students and kids in our district were recognized for a lot of great community service that they've done. So I just wanted to thank everybody for that. It was a nice event.
Okay. Trustee Marshall.
I have nothing.
Trustee Cordella.
In your package, your folder for the board members is the meeting minutes from our planning commission meeting back in January. Basically, if you read that at all, it's what I've already told you folks, is that basically the Taco Bell site, final site plan was approved, and also the site plan for the storage facility.
Seymour Storage. Seymour.
Seymour, self-storage was approved also, and that's the bottom line. I have not driven by the corner of Seymour Lake Road and Sashabaw Road. Have they started anything? Not as of 3 days ago.
Yeah, I know. That's surprising me, and I haven't seen anything, off at the Taco Bell site either. And at this meeting in January, they were like, just telling me that they're chomping at the bit, to start construction, and we just can't wait for, and I'm like, okay, all right, it's time to start building, it's time to start construction, and I haven't seen anything. I'm like, I'm a little confused by that, so that's my only thing. But the meeting minutes are accurate to the point where everything I said is included in the meeting minutes, so that's all I want to say. I'm just surprised that they haven't started this building.
I think the Seymour Storage just had their closing on their property just 2 or 3 weeks
The
ago.
final,
Yeah.
well, still.
It could also be because frost laws they had to wait for frost laws to
Well,
to
yeah,
finish,
and all
then
the
how wet
water.
it's been. Yeah.
Oh,
There has been some equipment in there too. I've seen it going home, but I haven't really seen them doing anything, but there's been equipment parked in there.
okay, good,
Yeah,
good.
I'm sure there's a few reasons.
Yeah, I'm just like looking and I'm kind of, okay, let's go.
Okay, we'll move on to treasurer's report.
Happy spring, everybody. Maybe Mayflowers will start and the showers will end. The treasurer's office is preparing for the 19 summer tax season. The bills will be ready to be mailed mid-June. You will have them in your hot little hands by July 1st. This year, the summer bills are due in the office by Monday, the 16th of September, because the 14th is on a weekend. We still have dog tags available at the regular prices, and that will change as of June 1st. Tags will go up in price. So if you have any questions, give our office a call.
All right, thank you. Clerk's report.
I wrote mine down, but Jason must have peeked. He said everything I was going to say about rocking and raking. But I do want to thank the committee as well that stepped up a few years ago to help out make sure that this program continues. Next year, this will be a permanent program through our senior center coordinator to ensure that the program will exist for years to come. The Memorial Day Parade is scheduled for Monday, May 27th, with lineup at 9:30 a.m. at the Old Town Hall. Veterans. Oh, thank you. 9 a.m. All veterans are encouraged to participate on foot, golf cart, or car. However you can get there. We'd love to have more vets. The Avenue of Flags is looking for volunteers to help place the stakes on Friday, May 24th, drive the stakes on May 25th, place the flags on Sunday, May 26th, and disassemble on Monday, May 27th at 6 p.m., weather permitting. The generator replacement bid deadline is on Tuesday, May 21st at 10 a.m. with a bid opening at 10:30 a.m. And I'm wishing everyone a safe Memorial Day weekend. And thanks for coming tonight.
Thank you, Clerk Allen. As far as the treasurer, or I'm sorry, I'm supervisor. As far as the supervisor's report.
It's okay.
I'd like to thank Candy for bringing up the generator bid. So we've got that all in the works, and hopefully we'll get a few good bids. There's been a couple companies out here to look at the site, so that's positive. I'd also like to thank BGYA for the good event that they put on, and the Rocking and Raking Committee, especially Kim Zernick, because she's the one that organized all the groups and where they needed to go and everything. But there was a lot of volunteers, and it's always a good program. So we had 73 residents that attended the first No-Haz collection of the year at Oxford Middle School. And I wanted to thank Mr. Scott Broughton for volunteering to work that event for us. Our next No-Haz collection is June 22nd at Oakland University, and I'm looking for another volunteer to work that event. It happens to be on the same day that our township has our cleanup day at the Township Park. So that'll be a huge get rid of your stuff day on both accounts. But anyone wanting to help really with either event, please let me know. The Oakwood Road Preventative Maintenance Overlay is scheduled for either May or June of this year, so we can anticipate some backup on Oakwood Road in the near future. I don't have an exact date yet, but if I do get one, I'll send it out to the board members.
Is that from lease?
It's from
to-
M15 to lease.
Yeah, M15 to lease, okay, that's what I
That's
thought.
gonna start
M15
when
to lease.
again?
They've got it for May or June, so
Oh.
I'm not sure the exact date, but
who's
it
doing
should
that?
be pretty soon.
The Road Commission
Yeah,
of Oakland County?
yeah.
Is that an overlay, or is that a total?
It's a preventative maintenance overlay, yes.
But they did
And
last
I know-
summer, but they just never did the other half. which is
Right,
they
and
did-
I think they're also doing some work at the intersection of Oakwood and M15.
Okay.
Okay. I don't have, okay. And the Sashbaugh Road construction won't happen until June, but they have been doing a lot of prep work, so there's stuff going on out there. The Road Commission for Oakland County is just finishing up with their first round of grading and chloriding. Also, the census is looking for workers for this year, this 10-year census. So if anyone's interested in working on the census, please call my office, 248-627-4918, and we'll direct you. I attended the 4th Annual North American Active Assailant Pre-Conference with the Fire Chief last month, and I came away with a lot of good information from that event. We had a post-audit conference with the we have a post-audit conference with the auditor tomorrow afternoon, so we're looking forward to that. And I hope that everyone enjoyed the M15 yard sale that was this past Saturday. So it's a busy time for M15. And that concludes my report, and we'll move on to the other reports. Or our correspondence. So we have a letter from Oakland County Community Health Network, and that is May 2019 is being declared Mental Health Month. The Road Commission for Oakland County sent us the 2019 road improvement projects list. And we have Planning Commission meeting minutes of January 22nd, 2019, and Zoning Board of Appeals meeting minutes of February 27th, 2019. So at this time, we will take citizens' comments, and during citizens' comments, we ask that you stand at the podium and direct your comments to the board. We will be happy to answer any questions at the end of the meeting. Please state your name, and although it's not required, we also ask that you state the city, township, or village in which you live. Comments shall be courteous and limited to 3 minutes per speaker. So if there is anyone that would like to speak to an agenda item tonight, please step up to the podium. Everybody's being quiet.
Is the Park Trail an agenda item?
It's an agenda item, but if you want to wait, I'll ask you to come up when we would discuss that. Unless you just wanted to say something extra, is fine. Okay. Anyone else? Public comment on agenda items? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on into our meeting, and the first thing that we have is a discussion item on the library Downtown Development Authority capture. So the Brandon Township Board of Trustees discussed this capture at 2 meetings that we've had already, and it was determined that they would like to see a meeting occur between the library DDA and the township board, or not the township board, but members of the township, or representative, which happened to be me, and also the treasurer came. So we had 2 representatives. And I reported on the attorney's position at our last meeting, so that's in your packet if you want to read that. And so on April 25th, we all had a nice meeting, and it was held at the Old Town Hall. And we met there to reach an understanding and resolution regarding the 2017 library tax capture. So the outcome is, to shorten this up, the DDA and the library discussed methods for returning $5,678.18 to the library. The DDA proposed a sponsorship settlement, but the library offered to take payment over a couple years. So the result is the DDA is going to make a formal offer to the library and have it ready for the next board meeting. I'm going to be looking into finding out if we can divert future collections from the DDA that goes to the library. And I don't have an answer yet from Oakland County. I have a call into them, so I'm waiting to hear back. And as soon as, and our attorney's on vacation, so it's still on my plate to get that answer, and then we'll get that to the library. So are there any questions?
I'm just
Or
glad the
discussion?
DDA and the library are talking.
Yep.
You had in the paper, you wrote, does the board want this topic as a discussion item again at our next meeting, or will a verbal report suffice?
Yes.
So we have to determine that at least?
Yes.
I mean, not
Yes.
determine that, because this is just discussion.
Well, it is
Yeah, you
discussion.
can't take any action.
We're not taking action, I'm just
By
looking
doing
for
that,
direction.
Okay, and that's not taking action, okay.
We're not taking any formal action on doing anything. maybe how it should end up is I'll just bring a report if it's good news. If it's something that I think we need to take action on, I'll bring it back as an action item.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
It's kinda hard for me to say what I would like it as. It would depend on if everything's worked out, then yeah, I don't need to make action and we can just know that it's worked out. But if it's
Okay.
not worked out, we have to step in, then, yeah.
Okay, any other discussion on this?
Thank you for getting it worked on.
You're welcome. Okay. I also wanted to state for everyone in the audience that, where did it go? Oh, in regard to the personal property tax reimbursement, Treasurer Darnell has been dispersing our local stabilization revenue, which is the personal property tax replacement funds, since the 2016 tax year. The 2018 allotments received in 2019 have recently been distributed. So we're all good as far as personal property tax, because I know that question came up before. I also wanted to point out to the board that it's, the way the state is doing this has gotten pretty confusing because they're calling the personal property tax local community stabilization funds, but then they're also going to be switching the Metro Authority funds that come in to kind of the same name. So it's
Confusing.
very confusing on which funds go to which account, but we'll work our way through that. Okay, so that's it for our discussion. Tonight on our consent agenda, we have regular meeting minutes of April 1st, 2019. Regular bills in the amount of $27,666.05. Prepays in the amount of $341,121.90. Township benefits from payroll account, $31,217.70. Trustee timesheets in the amount of $306. Any questions on the consent agenda?
Chris not here last month? You not here last month?
He was not here.
Yeah, I had to
Okay.
get the off. I'm not gonna get the off.
Okay, would someone like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
I'll support it.
I have a motion by trustee Marshall, and it is seconded by trustee Rumble to approve the consent agenda as presented. Any discussion? Nope. Roll call, please.
DePalma,
Yes.
Cordella,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Rumble,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Yes.
Thurman.
Yes, motion carries unanimously. So we can move on to our new business. Okay, so first we have the ordinance for second reading in regard to the marijuana provisions for persons under 21.
I'll make that motion to introduce the first reading to the Code of Ordinances.
It's the second, yeah.
It says first.
It does? All right, mine says second.
Got the wrong one. Mine says second.
Yeah, mine's the second.
It should say second, you're right. but Mine says first. How did I get that copy?
I don't know. You want to read mine?
I'll read yours, yeah, because this is even March 28th.
I don't know how you got that.
I don't know. I haven't opened up my last packet to mess things up, but yes, let's read this one. Okay, I'll start over. I make that motion for adoption of second reading to the Code of Ordinance, Chapter 28, Article 7, Offense Against Public Morals, adding the new Section 28-342 in Division 2, Subdivision 1, to read prohibited activities involving marijuana by persons under 21, ordinance attached, into the Code of Ordinances, Charter Township of Brandon, Oakland County, Michigan.
Okay, thank you.
I got one question.
Would someone like to second that first?
Support.
Okay, thank you.
Well.
Go ahead, go ahead.
We need to get our spell check in order. Marijuana is misspelled, okay, all over the place. And not only in the agenda, but in this motion. It's
I
spelled,
think
it's
that's the
spelled
way
with a
it's
J
written.
instead of an H.
That's the way it's written.
It can
in the
be
state
either
law.
way.
That's,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's the way
that's
it's
the
written.
state.
Really?
That's the
Yeah.
state
It's
spelling.
misspelled in the state?
It's an alternate spelling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what they go
Alternate,
by.
yep.
Yeah,
I've written it
I've
plenty
seen
of
it
times in
s- I've
police
seen it
reports. That's
both
the
ways.
the spelling.
yes, it's spelled right for the
Yeah.
state.
That's pretty scary. It's okay to misspell things, I guess, huh?
Okay, is there anything else that anyone would like to discuss on this?
I'm good.
We're all good? Okay, I have a motion by trustee DePalma, and it is seconded by clerk Allen to approve for adoption, second reading to the Code of Ordinances, Chapter 28, Article 7, Offenses Against Public Morals, adding the new Section 28-342 in Division 2, Subdivision 1 to read, prohibited activities involving marijuana by persons under 21, or the ordinance is attached for the board here, into the Code of Ordinances, Charter, Township of Brandon, Oakland County, Michigan. And if there's no further discussion, we'll do a roll call, please.
Cordella,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Rumble,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Darnell,
Yes.
DePalma,
Yes,
Thurman.
Yes, motion carries unanimously, so we can move on to our next item, which is the West Nile virus resolution. We just received all of our mosquito control products last week, so we're busy giving them out at the supervisor's office, and they went in, I sent a bunch for the baseball, the coaches' bags for baseball, and pretty soon we'll be sending some over to the senior center. Any,
Well, this is just the
Reimbursement.
spray stuff that we're talking about here?
we have
spray bottles?
larvicide, which you throw into stagnant water to kill the mosquito larva, and then the rest of it is mosquito control products, sprays. We have lotion. We have a
Wipes.
couple, some wipes left from last year, yeah.
So the only thing that goes into the environment is the, what'd you call it?
Larvicide.
Larvicide. Okay. And that's supposed to do what?
It kills mosquito larvae.
Okay. Everything else is for personal use, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Clerk Allen?
I would like to make a motion that the Charter Township of Brandon authorizes and directs its supervisor Kathy Thurman as agent for the Township of Brandon in the manner and to the extent provided under an Oakland County Board of Commissioners resolution to purchase and request reimbursement for eligible mosquito control activity under Oakland County's West Nile Virus Fund Program of 2019.
I'll
So-
second that.
Okay.
Sorry.
So, but in reality, we're approving the
For
resolution.
reimbursement.
Okay.
And that is,
I just read part of it for you.
that's the good part of it. That's the end of it.
That was the best part of it.
That was the best part, right?
Yes.
So your motion is to approve the resolution as
Correct.
presented?
Yes.
And is your second to?
Yes.
Second as presented, okay. Because I have to send this back to the county, and I have to send the whole thing back, not just the end of it.
Did you want me to read the whole thing?
No, it's okay.
I second the whole thing.
Yeah. And just so everyone knows, the Oakland County is reimbursing us up to $3,477.62 for mosquito control products. And I think I spent maybe $40 shy of that. So, but to get reimbursed, they need this back. Okay? All right, if there is no other discussion, We will take a roll call on this, and this is a motion to approve the Brandon Township West Nile Virus Program 2019 resolution as presented. And it's written right up here. Okay.
Marshall,
Yes.
Rumble,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Darnell,
Yes.
DePalma,
Yes.
Cordella.
Yes.
Thurman.
Yes. Motion carries unanimously. So next, we have our Metro Act extension. And if you look at the, right above the suggested motion, that paragraph, and it says Local Community Stabilization Authority, formerly Metro Authority, that's what gets confusing. So these are Metro Authority funds that we get every year, and if you've looked in your financial statement, you'll see the revenue that comes in. But we are only allowed to spend them on right-of-way projects, so this money cannot be used toward like graveling, whereas our tri-party money can be used for graveling. But this could be used for part of the Sashabaw paving project, so. And we'll get into that on the next item.
So when you say right of way, so it'd be like trimming the trees back for the construction prior to the construction on Sashabaw?
Yeah, and in the road itself, the construct, because it's in the right-of-way, so.
I'll make the motion to enter into the Metro Act right-of-way permit extension agreement as presented and allow the supervisor to sign the agreement.
I'll second that.
All right, is there any discussion on this? Pretty self-forward. Okay, I have a motion by trustee DePalma, and it is seconded by treasurer Darnell to enter into the Metro Act right-of-way permit extension agreement as presented and allow the supervisor to sign the agreement. Okay, since there's no further discussion, let's go ahead and do a roll call, please.
Rumble,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Darnell,
Yes.
DePalma,
Yes.
Cordella,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Thurman.
Yes, motion carries unanimously. So that brings us to the Sashabaw Road cost agreement. And I think Treasurer Darnell called and asked regarding these figures. So if anyone has any questions, please let me know and I'll try to explain how this works.
I do have a couple myself.
Okay, when you read it though, Chris, and I don't know if you've done this,
I have.
in the agreement, okay. So the board
Very helpful.
is not our board, it's the
Oakland County
road commissioners, yeah. And so we're the community, so in this agreement, we are the community,
That's,
yeah. So, go ahead, Chris.
Well, I guess the first question is this is taxpayer money, no matter how you want to look at it. And as I recall, going back about a year, at least, the estimated total cost of this project, if I'm not mistaken, was around $1.8 million. Am I correct with that, Treasurer? Darnell?
It's a road commission
It's a
project.
road commission thing. It's not a tax thing, honey.
But I mean, wasn't the original estimated cost
I
like
think,
around 1.8?
I think it was 2 million is what I was getting
2
for
million?
estimates, yeah.
And now it's up at $2.9
Two
million.
Inflation.
That's like being off 50%. I mean, that's incredible.
And I don't care how we want to slice it or dice it, that's taxpayers' money, that's my money,
We talked
That,
about this
you know.
before, about the differences and why it went
Yeah.
up.
but I mean.
Oh, yeah,
Maybe he
at our
wasn't
last
When you're off
meeting.
that, when you're off that much.
He wasn't
I-
here.
You know, I'm just not
He wasn't
cutting
here.
RCOC any slack on this. I'm not. This is, if you were in business and you were off by 50%, you know what? You wouldn't be in business very long. And that's the comment that I've got.
Okay,
You had to go back to the taxpayers and ask for that, when they originally bought into $2 million, and then all of a sudden you come back and you say it's 2.9 million, it's like,
And they were estimating, they didn't have any
Well, I know,
hard.
but I mean, that's
But
something.
it wasn't 2 million, I thought it was 2.3 or 2.4, and it did go up to 2.9, and we talked about all the reasons last time, if you would've watched the video from.
No, I did.
Didn't
I was at the meeting when we talked about it. But it wasn't at 2.4 and it wasn't at 2.3. It was like Kathy originally said, it was at 2 million. Because I remember looking at it.
Yeah,
I thought
way,
it was actually below.
way back,
Way back, a year and a
4,
half ago.
no, 4 or 5 years ago, they were talking 2 million.
Right.
Well, because we had to put it into the federal aid funding queue.
Right.
And that took like 5 years almost. And we were expecting to get 80% of it paid for by federal aid. And so what we're getting is 2.36 million paid by federal aid on this project.
I know.
So we have to
I'm
come
just
up
saying
with.
that that's money that's coming out of my pocket.
Okay.
And I'm not really happy about it.
Okay, any other comments on this or discussion?
I voiced basically the same concerns as Chris last meeting we had about, I understand cost overruns, but it goes a little to the extreme. And the other problem I have with this is the fact that there was no time frame set. I mean, if you have a business coming to your home, say to do some repairs in your bathroom, you're gonna ask them, how soon are you gonna have this done? I see nothing in here for that. Now, maybe that's out of our hands because it's going through the road commission, but I do see that they want their money within 30 days of receipt. But there's nothing in here that says how soon the project's gonna be done.
They're planning construction in June.
That's when they're starting it. When's it gonna end?
It should end this year because the federal aid funds have to be spent this year. And so that project needs to be done this year, and they are planning in June to begin construction, and I don't think they're gonna be doing it for.
Well, see, this is the way,
6
this is the way
months or
I would play the
anything.
game. I'm gonna spend the money and say, here's the money for the project. We've spent the money in the appropriate year, and then you're gonna wait until they can get around to doing the project. I would like to see some guarantee.
It should be done this year.
Well, it should be.
Because they can't spend it next year. It has to be spent this year.
Well, and it's in the control of the road
it
commission.
is. Well,
and I know,
We
and-
can't control all that, and that was the thing too, is the bids were based on 5 or 6 years ago when we put it into play. So we can't help that costs went up
Right.
that
And
much, so all of that is out of our control too.
Right, and I've repeatedly said that one of my biggest sources of frustration on this board has been the road commission, because we have no control over them whatsoever.
Right.
They do what they want to do, when they want to do it, how they want to do it, and we can just say, with our hat in our hand, please, sir, may you.
Well, otherwise we don't do anything, and that's the issue, is that if we want to do this, we have to follow their rules. So 6 years ago, we got bids, and now it's over, and either we don't do it, and then our money gets lost, or we do it, and we just have it be better than what it was.
I get it, it's just frustrating.
I understand that.
Is there any other discussion on this item? Would someone like to make the suggested motion on the front page?
I'll make a motion to enter into the cost participation agreement with the Road Commission for Oakland County as presented, allow the supervisor to sign the agreement, and allow the supervisor to use committed tri-party and Metro funds to fulfill Brandon Township's obligations as outlined in the agreement.
Support.
Okay, any further discussion on this? I have a motion by Clerk Allen, and it is seconded by Treasurer Darnell, to enter into the cost participation agreement with the Road Commission for Oakland County as presented, allow the supervisor to sign the agreement, and allow the supervisor to use committed tri-party and Metro funds to fulfill Brandon Township's obligations as outlined in the agreement. And we have been saving up these funds for a series of years, just so everyone knows. Any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, roll call, please.
Allen,
Yes.
Darnell,
Yes.
DePalma,
Yes.
Cordella,
No.
Marshall,
No.
Rumble,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes. Motion carries. So we will have that road paved. Okay.
Yeah, me too,
Next,
you know.
next on our agenda is the Purple Heart Trail request. So on behalf of the Ortonville VFW Post 582, Dennis Hoffman, who is here, and Dennis, if you want to step up to the podium in case we have questions for you. He is looking for $750 from us, which equals what the Village of Ortonville contributed to pay for the Purple Heart Memorial Highway signage along M15. And so, Dennis, maybe you'd like to explain the project a little more.
Yeah, it's the Purple Heart Trail Memorial Highway, and it starts in George Washington's home, and it goes all across the United States, and it's to commemorate and honor all the Purple Heart veterans. And in our community, I just got another name today, but we have 73 Purple Heart veterans dating back as far as the Civil War. And as with the road commission, for the signs, we had to go through MDOT. And
That was my question about the cost of the sign. Who are we going through? And I guess that
MDOT,
that
that's
answers my question.
M15, it's MDOT.
Another one of your favorite organizations.
The two signs would be at each end of the north and southbound, and they are 6 foot by 2 foot. And the cost, which choked me, was for the two of them, is $4,071.04.
Exactly.
And this total project's been done through donations through the community, Purple Heart recipients, and every time we would do a firing squad, if it was a Purple Heart recipient out at Great Lakes or any of the other, if there was a donation from the family, it went into that fund. Because like most places, the VFW's money's got to be allocated out of different funds for only certain things, like the Buddy Poppy that we have. All those funds have to be used for disabled veterans, families in need in the community, or to like the Patriots Pen and the Voice of Democracy, projects like that. It can't be used just for like the signage or anything. It all has to be designated by the national for what we can use it as. And we've got the signs ordered and paid for, but we had to take the money out of our building fund, which has to be put back, and we're still, like I said, $750 short on it. And the Masons give us $500 and Village give us $750. And I think we're the only community in Oakland County that is on the Purple Heart Trail. Holly's a Purple Heart community, but they didn't follow through to get it on the trail. And I've been working on it with Representative Riley since last February. And it's been about a year, and I've been over to Lansing to testify in front of the commission there for about designating the highway, and Governor Snyder signed it into law on his last day in office finally. So.
So you said we're the only community on the M15 trail there, so.
In Oakland County.
In Oakland County, what about Independence, and aren't they part of that? That's M15 in Oakland County.
They're not, you gotta have the councils or the boards of the community. You have to write a proclamation. They have to agree to the proclamation. You set a Purple Heart Day, and ours is August 1st. And it has to be approved by the board, and signed. Then you send in the proclamation to the Purple Heart Authority. They will look over the proclamation. Then they will either agree or disagree on whether you should become registered for the Purple Heart Trail.
So-
And Oakland County, we're the only one that's registered for the Purple Heart Trail.
Okay, I thought you meant like it was connecting all the way from George Washington's house all the way to here. like
No,
it's
it
in between. It
goes
breaks
back and
up.
forth across the,
Gotcha.
but, that's what they're hopefully trying for.
Okay, I was just trying to understand that. And where would I know the one southbound sign said it would be M15 near the current Village of Ortonville sign. Where would the north one be?
I think it'd be by the Welcome to Ortonville.
So basically the same area, just. with
Yes,
different-
yes.
And
But
Dennis-
that's also up to MDOT.
Dennis, what kind of material is the sign going to be made out of? Is it,
It's whatever they fabricate for MDOT. I think it's gonna be like the brown signs for the Parks and Rec, or stuff like that. Here's what the sign will look like.
I just didn't know if you'd put one where it starts each way, like when you enter it the one way and enter it the other way.
See, I'm not, that is all up to
I was
MDOT.
hoping, at that cost, I was hoping it was gonna be metal.
Gold plated?
Yeah, gold
Yeah,
plated.
jewels around it and.
Gold plated.
Diamonds
Yeah.
coated.
Lighting for it.
Yeah, I wanted them to
So,
see if they would put a Purple Heart on it or a
Yeah.
VFW Cross of Malta, but no, they copyright
They're just plain.
infringements.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, you can't use the logo unless you get special authorization from the department.
okay.
They're pretty
Does
stingy
anyone
with
else
that.
have any questions
Yeah, I do.
for Dennis?
Commander, your post,
Yes.
is that the one down the road?
No, we meet at the Old Town Hall.
Oh, okay, right in town here.
Yes, uh-huh.
Okay. Okay, very good.
Okay, does anyone else have any questions?
Yeah. Yeah, we're all local.
Familiar with the one down the road, you know.
That's the American Legion.
Is that American Legion?
Yeah.
Okay. For some reason, I thought that was VFW.
No.
Okay, Clerk Allen would like to make the motion?
I'd like to make the motion to allocate $750 from Public Relations Line 101-944-754-000 to help pay for the Purple Heart Trail Memorial Highway signage along M15.
Second.
He wanted to get that second.
Good job, Chris.
I'm all in favor of that.
Okay, I have a motion by Clerk Allen, and it is seconded by Trustee Cordella to allocate $750 from Public Relations Line 101-944-754-000 to help pay for the Purple Heart Trail Memorial Highway signage along M15.
Thank you.
We haven't voted yet.
Well, at least you put it on the board, agenda.
It's on the agenda.
Did anyone else have any discussion on this or questions? All right, now we're going to vote. Roll call, please.
Darnell,
Yes.
De Palma,
Yes.
Cordella,
Yes.
Marshall,
Absolutely.
Rumble,
Yeah.
Allen,
Yes.
Thurman.
Yes, motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. And 9 o'clock's the start of the Memorial Day Parade.
Thank
Okay,
you
thank
for being
you.
here for that.
Thank you, Dennis.
Yep. Thanks for all your work on
Exactly.
this.
Thanks for getting the sign.
Okay, so now we added an item F on the agenda, and that's the revised ordinance amendments. And, let me see. So the revised ordinance amendments relating to the repeal of amendments of section 46-4, 204, and 205 in the single-family residential to address and remove the 500-foot separation requirement between AFCs are being presented for referral to the Planning Commission for consideration, a public hearing, and recommendation. So this came from our litigating attorney and also the township attorney, and the ordinances are being given to you to look at, but just to let you know that it's a starting point to send it to the zoning, to the PC, it's starting the process, and that changes can be made to these ordinances before they get to the planning commission and also after the planning commission. So they're not set in stone. Any questions or concerns?
When would the PCC see this? When's their next meeting?
Their meeting should be the 28th. That's the meeting that we're looking to put this on, the 28th of May.
We've already announced a meeting, an agenda for next week.
Right. And there's got to be a certain amount of
For your
time for
information, that's why.
posting
Exactly.
and to
That's-
get that
that's what
out.
I'm
So
getting at, yeah.
the
It's-
28th would be
we
as
missed
as
that
soon as
window.
we could get it.
Right.
And typically, we like to take township business to meetings that have other business because we do charge for a PC meeting, but in this case, I don't think that's going to take place. I think this will probably be the only item on the agenda for the 28th.
Could I make the request when this returns to us that we have the old ordinance alongside the new ordinance so we can see what's been crossed out, redlined out?
You mean,
Just so-
this has the old ordinance?
Right, and with whatever new one.
And so if there's any revisions that,
Exactly.
that you see the
This is the old ordinance.
strike
This is
through,
the
strike
current-
throughs and the new stuff in
Right,
red or
exactly.
something?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is a copy of the current ordinance, is that right?
No, this is a copy of the amended ordinance
Oh,
that we're sending to the planning commission.
and then,
It's just easier because we don't have to have, I agree with Bob, it's easier if we have both to understand what's changed, because I can't remember what,
that's what I was wondering.
all the word for word it was.
Right.
Do we have to do it on 5/28 if there's no other business to pay for just this to be done? I mean, can we just wait till the next one?
Well,
Is business, just because there's been so much cost of this already on the township, and I just have concerns about doing this too soon before things have already actually been settled, like I had.
I thought the time restraint we had was with the Lara hearing and that kind of thing, so we were sort of on a tight schedule, I thought.
and that's going to happen before the 28th.
Yeah, this has nothing to do with that one, this has to do with the other one.
Right, right.
And I didn't think we were at any point to have to do this yet, because it's still going back and forth. My concern, are we jumping the gun on doing this?
Not according to Stuart.
Well, we're not really changing it right now. It's gotta go to
Okay.
planning commission first, and then
And then
it'll
it-
come back
Right, I
here.
understand that.
You guys will have the
And then it comes back
wall,
to us twice.
shot at it, second
Yeah.
shot at it.
As I said, can we just wait till the planning commission
guess it's-
has another meeting that?
We don't know when that would happen, Dana. They're scheduled for 2 meetings a month, but if they don't have anything that comes in, then they don't have the meeting.
Do they usually end up with one a month, though? When's the last meeting they had?
It depends, it
January.
all
January.
depends.
Let's say January or
It
February.
was January?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember one year, we only had like 3 PC meetings, like the whole year.
That was last year,
That was last year. Well,
Yeah.
okay.
3 meetings all year.
You remember that one?
Pretty sure it was last year. If it wasn't, it was definitely the year before that. 'cause there
I
was
just don't remember
Not many.
being told to get this into place yet, or moving, so.
Would anyone like to make the suggested motion
I'll make the motion
as presented?
as presented.
I'll second.
Okay. This is item F. Okay, any further discussion on this, or do you want to speak to anything more about this? Okay, I have a motion by Treasurer Darnell, and it is seconded by Trustee Cordella, that having received legal advice on the law regarding adult foster care facilities, and pursuant to Section 46-164 of the zoning ordinance, the Board of Trustees hereby initiates proposed amendments to zoning ordinance Section 46-204B3 and 46-205B2 relating to permitted uses in the RE, R1A, and R1B zoning districts, including state licensed residential facilities such as adult foster care small group homes, and refers such proposed amendments to the Planning Commission for consideration a public hearing in compliance with applicable state law and a recommendation, and to authorize the supervisor or her designee to take any other action required to initiate the zoning ordinance amendments. Okay, so that was by Treasurer Darnell and seconded by Trustee Cordella. Any discussion?
So this is just going to the planning commission for them to determine if these changes should take place, and then they send it back to us with a yay or an nay.
Who crafted this?
This was, which part?
All of it.
Well, a lot of it came from our litigation attorney.
Okay.
Litigating attorney, I should say. Some of this part was from me.
Okay.
A lot of it came from the litigating attorney.
And who wrote the amendment that we're sending?
The litigating attorney, and our township attorney has looked at it. And he's okay with this coming to the board.
I got a question. We're gonna have a meeting, the planning commission for consideration of this amendment, right? And then having said that, is that going to be the time when the same thing, the public hearing is gonna take place?
Yes.
Okay. So that's all one meeting?
Mhm.
The public hearing, the planning commission meeting? Okay.
And what date would that be, Chris?
That'd be the 28th.
Of
May.
May?
Of this
Of this month, May
Yeah.
28th.
Right.
And it would be, the public
Yeah, we
hearing
agreed that we're
takes
gonna-
place at the planning commission meeting.
That's what I was getting at, yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make that clear. Very good.
Just so
People
yeah.
out there know.
So all I'm voting for in this is that I'm approving it to go back to the PC to make a
Right.
determination. That's
Right.
it. Nothing more.
And discussion with public.
Is that right?
Yes. But yeah, the litigating attorney wrote that, that's why it's so long. If I were to write it, it'd be about half as much.
You're talking about the motion?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, any other comments on this? Or discussion? All right, seeing none, roll call, please.
DePalma,
Yes.
Cordella,
Yes.
Marshall,
A very unhappy yes.
Rumble,
Yes.
Allen,
Yeah.
Yes.
Darnell,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes, motion carries unanimously, so this will be going to our planning commission.
I think like Marshall said, all unhappy yeses.
I was unhappy too.
Everyone's unhappy about this whole thing.
Okay, at this point in time, we will take citizens' comments, 3 minutes per person. And we have a citizen coming up. I think he wants to fill us in on the Sashabog.
Yes. Rick Gibbons, Brandon Township. I can fill you guys in. I talked to the engineer who made the mistake of giving me his phone number.
Oh, my God. Has he realized yet that it was a mistake?
I asked him what you asked, why did the cost go from 2.3 to 2.8? It was bid out 3 or 4 years ago when fuel costs were lower, competition was greater. Now, less people want the work because they have work everywhere building roads. Fuel cost is higher, equipment's higher. He says, so the cost of doing the road's higher. Also, I says, I don't want our road to look like that trip road over here in Groveland Township, where they done it last year, but they've never come back graded or anything like that. He guaranteed me it would be done by October.
And he worked for the road commission.
He was an engineer for the road commission. And I said the same thing, Bob. I don't want to see my road looking like that road over there. They've just left it. There's already potholes coming up in the new pavement and everything. So he says that won't happen.
You have their number, so you can.
Yeah.
You
And
know
he
where
knows
it
I
goes.
will call because I've already called him a couple times.
Thank you, Rick.
You can be our ombudsman for the project.
Is there anyone else that would like to make a public comment this evening? Okay, so at this time, it's time for the board comments. We'll start down at Chris's end tonight.
I don't have anything.
Okay, Bob?
I do, and I will not give the address, but we received an email from the supervisor that was the conduit from the code enforcement folks, and it showed a tree growing through the center of a barn. Now, the tree had to have been, I'm guessing 8 foot in diameter by minimum, and it had to have been 40, 50 feet tall. And the notation was that unless we have some sort of ordinance about unsafe buildings, which the assertion was we don't, that this is the kind of thing we have. And first off, we do have an ordinance covering unsafe buildings. And secondly, I was really irritated, as you probably could tell from my email, that if this was such a problem, why is it just now getting to us when this tree obviously has been growing for decades through the middle of this barn? So it either shows an unwillingness to do something or a complete lack of the ability to do something about it. And I think it's something that needs to be addressed. That's it.
Okay. Thank you. Clerk Allen?
Oh, goodness. We're still working on getting the kitchen done. Just thought I'd throw that out there for you. Yeah. It's very close, so we are using it at least, so, and it does look very nice.
What's the last thing that needs to happen?
There's about 15 items that needs to
Oh,
happen.
50.
And I've been instructed by Oakland County to send a stern or strong letter that the contractor needs to finish in a 2-week period or forfeit all his balance
Good.
of money not given to him yet,
Good
so.
for you.
And on one other note, at the senior center, I've been looking into other communities as far as what we can do about people that wear too much cologne or too much perfume or, because of allergies. I am all in agreement for it, but so far, I haven't come up with a really good way to let people know, can you not wear so much? If anybody has a suggestion, let me know. It's a tough place. So that's it for me.
Okay. I'll go ahead and go. Mr. Marshall didn't talk about my reply to his email.
Oh, I didn't see a reply. I didn't see a reply, so I didn't.
Maybe it went to junk, but what I sent you was, it was a picture of a tree going up through, and it wasn't the barn proper, it was the overhang part of the barn. And the tree to me didn't look like 8 foot in diameter, maybe.
I don't know what size tree.
It was a good sized tree. But the picture was taken while he was out and about. Usually what happens is we get complaints on things. This was not a complaint. He just happened to look and see it and thought it looked interesting and took a picture. And I sent that on to you. And
Did he act on it?
no, because there was no complaint. And he didn't see it as,
We're the complainant.
but he didn't see it as a dangerous building.
Really?
I don't know how he could not see it as a
So he
dangerous
wants us to
building.
give him a new ordinance
the-
to make it easier?
And the fact that
And
he thinks somebody has to complain about it, as the township, we are the complainant.
We don't
Okay.
need complaints to do things. We should be able to do things without complaints, number one. Number two, there is stuff in place, so why come to us, show us the
Well-
picture and say, we need the property maintenance code to take care of this when there is something? Because you should have turned around and said to him, well, there is something, so we should
care of
say,
Well,
so
and
take care
so
of it,
the
not
other
pass an
part of it
ordinance.
would be to, what part of the dangerous building applies to this because he doesn't see it as a dangerous building issue.
And why is he
So,
taking a picture?
so maybe,
Why
maybe
did that
what
tell
you
us
need to
And why
do,
take a picture of it?
maybe you need to call and have a conversation with him.
I have tried having conversations with him. It leads nowhere. In fact, he ignored some of my phone calls to him in the past. So,
All right. But anyways, I did answer your
email.
email.
If it's not dangerous, then why do we need the property maintenance code to deal with it?
He didn't ask for the maintenance code.
But that's what it said in
That's
the
what the
email.
email
The
said.
email
It
showed a
said-
picture of it and said, we will
This is what
continue
we
to
get
have
if we
this,
don't
and
do
this is
this.
what we get if we don't have the property maintenance code, and that is untrue, because we have stuff that will take care of it, and if you don't think it's dangerous, then you don't even need the property maintenance code to take care
Find
of it.
stuff that will take care of it for us.
Bob offered to do that. So go ahead, Bob. Kathy just said.
I will. I will do that exactly
Okay,
that.
thank you. And that's all I have tonight, so go ahead. Treasurer Garner.
Nothing.
Nothing. Trustee DePalma.
I just wanted to say the vote on that ordinance was a very sad vote for me and a tough vote. That's all. And the revising, sending it to the PC.
Trustee Rumble.
I don't have anything else tonight.
Okay. All right. Okay, at this time, we will entertain a motion to adjourn our meeting.
I'll make that motion.
I'll support it, whatever.
There you go.
Okay, I have a motion by trustee Cordella, and it is seconded by trustee DePalma to adjourn our meeting. Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say nay. Meeting's adjourned.